calling the meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pastor Ted is going to give us the invocation, please.
Would you bow your heads with me? Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to come to you first. We are always in need of wisdom and reasoning that is greater than our own. We recognize that the wisdom and reasoning that we need comes from you. You are the source of it all. So today, as we open up with this prayer to you, we release our will to yours and pray, let your will be done. Today, I ask that you would bless this council with the wisdom to make the best decisions amid potential conflicting interests and issues. Bless them with a sense of welfare to the true needs of our school system. Bless them with the confidence in what is good and fitting. Bless them with the ability to work together in harmony, even when there is honest disagreement. And bless them with personal peace in their lives and joy in their task. I pray for the agenda set before them today. Please give an assurance of what would please you and what would benefit those who attend and work in Putnam County School District. In the name of Christ Jesus, I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so very much.
Hey, Nicole.
I'll ask everyone to please silence their cell phones if you haven't already done so. I'm going to make sure mine is.
I think mine's silent.
Yeah, mine is. Okay. First thing on the agenda, the Florida Department of Health and Putnam County's proposal to partner, and I'm very, very, very excited about this. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing that's happening.
Okay, for short people, you need to
You
make
can
this
just-
a
yep.
little low. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to give a brief overview of what a school-based sealant program would be. I just wanted to share with you that there are two initiatives in Putnam County. One is being championed by local pediatrician Eric Jump, and I have brought to you a statement from the Surgeon General, if you will pass these along, supporting community-wide water fluoridation as an effort to prevent dental diseases in Putnam County. So I wanted to hand those to you. This school-based sealant, because Putnam County lacks water fluoridation, is a really a nice way of being able to address dental problems in our schools and in our children. If you'll turn. Tooth decay, the Surgeon General of the United States in 2000 had a data study that about 51 million school hours are lost each year in the United States to dental-related illnesses. And low-income children suffer about 12 times more the restricted activity of getting their teeth done. And then they suffer about twice as many cavities as you would normal other children. So today, it's really called the silent epidemic. There is a lot of oral health that is not being done in our counties. It's not considered a primary health. That's sort of the other thing. I will do my teeth if I get a chance to. So, but kids suffer from pain. The picture is awful painful, so I'm going to have David pass it through because, but one is there are a lot of school hours missed because of dental issues. Our mission is really to work with you to establish a partnership to set up a school-based sealant program to allow us to really assess kids and their dental care. The program really would be aimed at second graders and at sixth graders, which, as the data shows, has the most impact for our children. We'd start there. But also to address hygiene, to address education, but also to take a look at if they have larger issues to refer them to dentists as well, because most of them haven't seen a dentist. The school-based sealant program has been proven to reduce the incidence of dental problems with kids, and also has been proven to reduce the incidence of caries in children by about 70%. All right. We hope to, again, increase dental care, decrease the number of kids that go untreated, have decay, decrease the number of missed school days, also decrease the number of ER visits for our children. And good dental has been proven to have, or bad dental care has been proven to have other health issues. It's led to heart attacks. It has, if you don't take care of those are items that also have other impacts on health as they go forward. The advantage of a school-based sealant program is the ability to reach at-risk kids at one time, and a large number in the schools. School transportation is a problem in Putnam County, so this would be a way of addressing that. It also minimizes the time that a student is absent from school, because we can do it there. It really takes just a few minutes for a child to come in, be assessed, have a fluoride treatment, and have the sealant put in. We will also focus on education for each kid so they understand the importance of brushing, the importance of just oral hygiene, and prevention. If the child does have caries or if there are problems, we will work through our local resources to get them to a dentist and refer them. So we will follow up with that as well. Again, we will do an oral screening, identify the risks that children have. A letter will go home to each parent telling them exactly what we've provided, and then any resources that are available for treatment, and hopefully prevent missed school days as well. All right. That's good. Go ahead. This is what a sealant would look like. If you look at the tooth on the left, it is a normal fissures. You see where you can get decay, and after the sealant, those are masked by the seal. It protects that tooth base, and it's just done to the molars, which are the most impacted by tooth decay. What we're asking you is permission to work with your students, asking for your support of the program, and asking for a small space in each of the schools to set up our systems and to work with the students and your faculty. And then, as I said, a follow-up letter will go to each of the parents. There are 34 school-based sealant programs in the state of Florida right now out of the 67 counties, and so why not us? This is a wonderful effort for our students, and it is at no cost to the child themselves or to the school board. So if you have any questions, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, Madam Chair,
Yes.
I know Dr. Jump pretty well. He has doctored my 3 kids
Oh, my goodness.
about their whole life, so he is a good friend of mine, and I have spoken with him about this. And you have my full support.
Thank you.
This is an excellent program. It will help our kids. So thankful. Now, I know there's another initiative that Eric's been talking about, but I don't know if
Fluoridation.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is the time or the place to bring that up, but
I suspect that he will probably come forward and see you. I did provide
Yep.
you a letter from the Surgeon General as well
Right.
in support of countywide fluoridation, and I suspect that he has already told us that he will be asking for your support for countywide fluoridation.
right, and I've spoken with him about it.
Yeah, Terry and I both
Yeah,
spoken with him.
and I will tell you, I support it. He is he is a doctor that absolutely has a community mindset.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about community health, and so if he recommends something, I'm gonna support it 100%. So.
Why, could I ask, go ahead, Jane, go ahead.
Well, I'd just like to say, as a guidance counselor who has had to take several students to the dentist through the years because, you know, they were in just horrible pain, had no means to pay, took them to the dentist. My dentist helped out. Then I would have to collect money from the staff to help pay, pay.
know.
I think this is awesome.
Yeah.
My question is, why, what I'm hearing is there's no fluoridation in the water anymore?
Right.
Not
city
in Putnam
water?
County,
Not in
no,
Putnam
sir.
County.
Not in Willaca or Melrose or East Palaca, Crescent City, Interlochen? No, nowhere?
No, sir.
Certainly not in the wells. So.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, they've got their
city
city
systems.
water and
Right,
sewage.
right,
Yes.
right.
I was just curious, I mean, whether they
Well,
got city
the
water.
city commission voted to
Is it just,
not incur the expense of that.
But that would just be Palatka. what about
Well,
the
I don't know
rest
what
of
they
it?
did in
Yeah.
other towns, but
well, I mean, I was under the impression we still had fluoride in the water.
No, sir.
Okay, well, yeah, that's all I needed to know. As long as you know these other systems don't have it, then,
Well, and that's why this is a wonderful program, because it is school-based. It targets the second grade and sixth grade, where we have been shown to have the most impact on caries. and prevention of tooth decay and diseases. It also helps us when we start early to be able to go ahead and catch those kids that might already have decay and try to address those fairly quickly. And so it's been proven that if you start with second graders and sixth graders, that's a really good time, and God willing, and if we get a little bit of funding, we could expand that. But those two are the ages that have been proven the best. And then so the following year, we will do the next round of second graders and sixth graders. We'll probably also ask to evaluate those sealants that we've put in on the children the prior year to make sure that they're still in place. But it's a very effective way to be able to address a large population, and doing it in the school avoids the issue of transportation. We will be coming to you. We will be working with your principals at each of your school. We will work with your schedule, and just need a very, a room to be able to put the equipment in and some sorts of water.
When did they stop putting fluoride in the water? Do you know?
Two different
different things
things,
here,
but I believe it was in 2000, I believe. Dr. Jump is a lot more well-versed on that.
Come talk to us about
Yeah.
Well, in 2002, I know I wrote a children's vision plan for Putnam County and gave to the county commission to pass the Better Place Plan tax. And part of that was for dental services, but I guess it didn't make it to the teeth, so.
It didn't.
No
I'm
pun
good
intended.
with the program. It's good.
Thank you, because you've been very persistent. I know you've been working
I
on
know.
it so
I think I talked to
long, and
Phyllis about this my first week when I met her,
Yeah,
and
it's great. Thank
it's
you.
been a dream for me to be able to start this. We have picked whatever small resources we have and been able to address them to buy some mobile equipment, and we will continue to see it the best we can. And I've already told Phyllis my dream is to have an operatory at one of the schools, but I'll have to hold out on that a little longer.
Thank you so much.
And you'll need a room at the school, and will you send us kind of what you're looking for in that room?
Yes,
so that
I'll
we
work
can
with,
be sure
I'll
and
work
have
with
it ready
Mr.
for-
Roach, and it just is a small area, and I know that we'll get into testing season, so we'll work with your schedules as well, and maybe a dental would be a good distraction from
This is more important
preparations
than
for that.
testing. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Bless
If you've
you.
got
testing.
if you're,
Well, you won't be able to test well if your teeth hurt.
Yes.
So,
You're absolutely
right.
right.
so hopefully that will
With a
not be
hot
a
washcloth on
distraction.
your
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah.
this is very exciting.
Thank you
So we're
much.
so glad that we're able to bring this, and hope we'll be able to continue this, and appreciate your support of this program.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
And board members, this is
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you
on
so
our
much.
agenda. It's item I3, so we'll be approving the memorandum of understanding with the state of Florida Department of Health when we do the consent agenda.
Okay.
Okay, next, it's not on the agenda, but the governor has issued a proclamation that I would like to read. He has declared that February is Career and Technical Education Month. Whereas, profound economic and technological changes in our society are rapidly reflected in the structure and nature of work, placing new and additional responsibilities on our educational system. And whereas the efforts of career and technical educators, business, and industry stimulate the growth and vitality of our local economy and of the entire nation by preparing graduates for careers that are forecast to experience the largest and fastest growth in the next decade. And whereas career and technical education serves as the backbone of a strong, well-educated workforce and contributes to Florida's mission to become the global destination for jobs and America's leadership in the international marketplace. And whereas the workers of tomorrow are in our classrooms today, and career and technical education provides Floridians with a school-to-careers connection, helping students experience practical and meaningful applications of any number of skills. And whereas more than 559,000 secondary job preparation and post-secondary career and technical education students in Florida engage in this type of meaningful education. And whereas secondary schools in all 67 school districts, all 28 Florida public colleges, and 47 technical centers offer
career and technical education courses. And whereas more than 232,000 secondary students are enrolled in more than 1,900 registered career and professional education academies and nearly 3,000 registered career-themed courses, and have earned almost 57,000 industry certifications. And whereas over 8,000 secondary career and education teachers are inspiring students to succeed in college and careers. And whereas career and technical education offers individuals lifelong opportunities to learn new skills and gain advanced workforce training, providing career choices and potential satisfaction. Now, therefore, I, Rick Scott, Governor of Florida, do hereby extend greetings and best wishes to all, observing February 2015 as Career and Technical Education Month. We will move on now to our public comment guide. First up, we have Crescent City Junior Senior High Band Director, I believe, Jolene Sanford. And come up to the podium, please. Hi.
Okay, I'm much more comfortable with the music stand in front of me. This isn't exactly, I thought I was gonna be doing something else, but it was suggested that I attend a meeting and from Mr. Roach, and that was gonna be in the January. And then I believe my principal and Ms. Criswell decided that today would be a better day. But I realize I can't ask you for much, or you can't vote on it, but we would like to talk to you all about having some financial support to help us get some uniforms. And, I mean, that's really it. We have been out there, we're doing our best, you know, performing and educating and getting the students to be good citizens and to be out there in the public. And they're embarrassed when they get on the field. And it's sad because we work real hard, and when we get other bands coming to our school, they start to feel bad, and they should. I mean, we need some uniforms. So I would like for you all to consider putting me on an agenda so that I can actually give you some information and talk to you a little bit more about helping us fund some band uniforms.
At that time, can you have some specific prices for us and
Okay.
and a fundraising plan? Because, you know,
Well, we have some things in place, and really what I was gonna see if you would match kind of what we're gonna be raising over the next couple months. I just know you can't vote on it now,
Right.
maybe.
Right,
No, we
no, we
can't.
But
can't.
that's what our plan is that's what I'm gonna ask for you all to do, is to match what we raise over the next couple months.
Well, I'll be happy to put you on the agenda for the next meeting, and I'll notify you exactly when that is, and we'll
Okay.
have it under discussion.
Okay,
Um,
and I'll bring the catalogs, I'll bring some
Specifics,
prices
yep.
and things like that.
That would be great, and in the meantime, if the superintendent, I'm not sure how many bands we have.
Well,
but
we
you-
have a high school band at all three high schools,
And
and
we
it's
have
been an
some
issue
youth.
over the years. I was gonna let Rhonda address a little bit. We can wait until next time if you'd like, since you're gonna put it on for discussion, so that Rhonda can come and kind of talk to us about the finances. Anything that we do with athletics in all of our schools, or the bands, or drama, all of those are issues that they all need money for something. But Rhonda can give you the financial issues with that, and why we haven't always, you as a board have not always paid for everything. Like the band has a boosters club, so do the athletic departments have booster clubs, and there's a reason for that. And I know you're gonna put her on the agenda, so we can have that whole discussion at that time, and Rhonda can bring you
Right,
some
but
stuff as
there's
well.
also some bands at middle schools. I'm just trying to get a feel for how many
Yes, now
bands
they
we
get
have.
T-shirts. It's a little different
they
in the
don't
middle
have
school, the
uniforms.
high school. Certainly they need uniforms. Middle school would love to have them, but they don't
They don't need
march
them.
at ball games
Okay.
and do the things that high school bands do. So that's kind of a separate subject. This certainly is very important for the students here. We certainly want them to feel supported, but there are financial issues that need to be explained. And certainly Rhonda Odom, our Assistant Superintendent for Finance, can do that at the next meeting, unless you want to hear from her today.
No, that's fine. I just know that what we do for one, we're gonna have to do for all. So whatever number you're asking for will be multiplied by at least 3, because some of the
This is why I'd really like to get our foundation up and running. I know that Ms. Cummings has been working on that. Our problem is getting the 501c3 takes forever. And we've written bylaws, we've done a lot of the pre-work on that. But again, we talked about this at one point, raising money so that we can do things like this around the district. We would need a person to do that full-time, because it would take a full-time person to raise the kind of money we need for all the different issues around the district. And normally, that person is either paid in full by the district, or part by the district and the foundation, or totally by the foundation. So that's a decision the board would have to make also. So we can talk about that another time.
Okay, thank you. We'll get you on the agenda and I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sanford. You do a great job. Thank you.
I took flute lessons from Miss Sanford for a while. Okay, next up, Wendy Robinson.
Good evening, everyone. I think everybody knows me by Johnson. I do work at the school district for 21 years. This is just a public announcement. Our ministry, Redeemed International Outreach, has taken on a task to service 30 young youth in Putnam County, 15 middle school, 15 high school, to give them a Christ-centered atmosphere and mentoring. We realize that our youth are basically leaving school and going to the streets, and we want to kind of curb a little bit of that. And so we've taken on the challenge. Our ministry has taken on. This is Lisa Manalisa and Thalia Williams and their support. And I have pretty much support of the community, so I'm just bringing it to you that this is what we're going to be doing. On Krill Avenue, we're located on Krill Avenue, 5015 Krill Avenue, and that's where we'll be supporting some of the youth of Putnam County. And we just want to bring it to your attention. So you just keep us in your prayers. That I've been working with youth for about 20 years now. And I really
She's
enjoy
not
it.
giving herself enough credit. I got to visit this week, and she is not just a teacher. She's the director at Solution Center, which I am convinced that only a few, very, very few called people can do that job. And I was very impressed, and thank you so much for just pouring in so much to our
She
students.
had a lot of experiences in the dean's office at Palatka High School.
So you are not just, I mean, you do one of the hardest jobs, I think, in this district. So I do appreciate you.
Thalia up, I knew I was in trouble here.
But we do know our students do need a spiritual guidance. And if they can't get it home and it's limited at school, so we can, at church, we can at least open up the doors for them to have a balance anyway. Because if it's off balance, then we're going to have problems that we're having right now.
How do you plan to pick the students or find the students that you're going to be mentoring?
Well, we have applications that we have put out. I think
the
we've got 15, parents that we do know,
Okay.
and we solicit from the parents. And we have about 15 already registered, and March 1st we'll start. So
Great, thank you.
just keep us in your prayers, and
And is this after school?
after school and summer.
Okay.
I'm so proud of what y'all are doing.
That's
That's
wonderful.
wonderful.
It is.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
And you can breathe, because we're not asking for any money.
That's all right.
So breathe.
Wish we had some to give you.
Let me,
Yeah, me too.
let me give you my phone number. My phone number is 386-546-2947.
Yeah, Terry, she's.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sorry.
fast.
Yeah, write that down. Give me a call.
Say it again.
And just, our church where I'm a pastor, we have a gym and some other facilities that would be willing to work with you on. So
Okay. What's the number again?
386-546-2947. We're glad to network with you and make our facilities available anyway.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
I tell you.
Something in her car from her
Next
kids.
up is the consent agenda. Are there any, first of all, we're removing items D7 and I1. They've been pulled.
7,
Is there anybody in the public that would like to pull anything for further consideration from the consent agenda? Board members? Mr. Ray?
Madam Chair, I move we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'm asking if we-
I'm sorry.
Anybody wants to pull
No,
anything?
no, I'm
Sorry.
good. No, I'm good.
Mr. Buckles?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Cummings?
No, I'm good right here.
Ms. Crawford? No, I'd like to pull G1 for discussion, please. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Madam Chair.
Minus D7, I1, and G1.
I will now move a motion that we approve the consent agenda minus D7, G1, and I1.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
And Nikki seconded.
Everybody seconded.
She beat me.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. G1 is personnel issues, and we are creating another, well, we're adding back a position that used to be, and then it was taken off, and it's an administrative position. It's a, I think it's an associate superintendent or something, and I don't know. I know I get criticized personally about, administration top-heavy and all this, and we never have money for anything. And I know what the administrative, the salaries and benefits run, and I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it, but adding another administrative position right now when all we do is say we have no money, where are we getting the money for that?
This
Madam Chair.
position will not cost us any money,
How?
What is it?
because I'll be moving personnel around, and they know that it's current people. They'll be moved around, and they just keep the salary they have.
Well, yeah, but we're adding another slot, so that means we're gonna get rid of a slot. There'll be
No.
then we're adding a position.
Well, no, ma'am, because one of my administrators will be taking on 2 assignments. Because I know we cannot cost the district any money, but I've got to have a better distribution of duties that need to be done. We don't have the number of people administratively to get the job done at the district level. Mr. Buckles can tell you, when he was in office, he had 4 more administrators in the district office than what I have right now. And the demands from the Department of Education and the legislature have increased since that time. So we are struggling to get everything done, and this will allow me to spread out some of these duties. And the people that I intend to move understand they already get a salary. They're not getting any more.
I understand that, but we're still adding an allocation.
Well, it was there all along. Assistant Associate Superintendent,
In charge of what?
the business side
Okay.
of what we do with the district: transportation, maintenance, warehouse facilities, purchasing, all of those business issues that currently I do that plus everything else I do. And it's really hard. I don't get out in the schools as much as I should because I'm trying to do that and everything else.
I understand that,
so-
but I'm sorry, go ahead, Jen.
So this person will.
This is an appointed
do
position.
that, plus what they're doing now. Is that what you said?
No, this person will take care of those departments, and I will move another person to that position to do that, plus the position that they are currently doing.
Well, then it seems to me like we need to amend a job description for the person you're moving into
I don't want to
position.
do that. I don't want to handicap a future superintendent who may have a different idea of what they want to do.
Well, I
This
don't
is
want
something that
another-
I'm agreeing to do with the current personnel who are working with me and being team players. We just have so much that we need to do, and I haven't made the announcement. I could talk to you about it individually, but I feel like since it's a personnel issue, I
Well,
didn't want to make announcements.
So no money's involved?
No money's
Unless she
involved.
fills the other position. There's a position there that we're adding, which if we add it, then, all right, say there's 5 positions and she's moving, and this one's gonna take over that and this. So there's 5 people working, but there are 6 allocations. So anytime she wants, she can hire a 6th person if we agree to this, a 6th administrator.
I won't do that without Rhonda telling me I can. Right now, she and I have talked. Currently, her duties include finance and handling of the purchasing department and food service. she doesn't have time for that. She just does not have time. If she concentrates all of her time on finance, it takes all of her time. And I don't feel like we are giving the other departments somebody that they can contact and work with. And that's what this will do for us, so that we can pay them a little more attention that they deserve, so that they don't always have to come to me for everything, because I'm not always available because I'm doing so many different things. And instruction should be my primary concentration, and it can't be. Thank goodness I have Helen Muir as my assistant superintendent for curriculum and instruction. But what's being required of us from DOE and the legislature, I need to expand here. And I'm going to have one person doing 2 departments so that I can move this person into this position so that there's no more money. We're not spending any more money. We still have the same people, but I'm going to have somebody who can give attention to departments that currently don't get the attention they need.
I understand, and I have no problem with that, but if you're not gonna hire any more people, and it's not gonna cost us any more money, why don't we just trade out one administrative position for another? Why are we adding
Madam
another?
Chair, could I ask Ms. Decabellis, because I just didn't see on the paperwork where it had any allocation being added, so.
Well, I called and asked her, so.
Okay.
Well, and I just want a point of clarification. You've already approved this. What you pulled off the consent agenda was the approval of personnel matters. I did not ask for this position. It was under Ms. Odom, so it was actually F3.
Oh.
So this is
That's
already
what
approved.
I was thinking. I didn't see it under G1, so.
And I'd like to interject that I know I had an associate superintendent, and times were a little better, and I was able to have more help, but I do have enough confidence that the superintendent would not add someone without our approval, and I think, if anything, I think she's going to move forward, and we're going to try to maybe work together to try to diminish some administrative positions in the future. If people leave, if things happen and we don't have the money, then we'll find a way to absorb them. And I'm comfortable with the situation. I'm normally, not in favor of adding, because likewise, I had more people at the district office. I didn't have as many administrators in the schools, but having more assistant principals in the small schools helps us maintain district accreditation. So it's a either-or situation, and I think she's
Even
done a
small
good job.
districts have assistant and associate
Right.
superintendents. When I came into office and that position had been vacated and the gentleman had moved to Tallahassee, and the previous superintendent had not filled it for the remaining time that he was here. And when I came into office and talked to Rhonda about our finances, and she really does a good job of keeping a tight rein on finances. I don't make a move without talking to her, because certainly I have no desire to cost the district any additional dollars. However, at that time, I told her I would probably not put anybody in that position. At the time, I don't know exactly when it was, I think that particular cost center was deleted. I don't think I understood that it deleted that position at the same time. I thought I would still have that position available to move people around if I needed to. And again, I told her I would never fill that or any other position without us feeling very comfortable about our finances. But I need the position just to move some people around so that I can do a better job of addressing the issues of not only the schools, but all the departments. And so that's why I
Madam
had
Chair,
her
I
added.
make a motion to approve G1.
Second.
Motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, I'm gonna take us out of, regular session and put us in emergency.
Wait, we have 2 more discussions, don't we? Or is
No,
that-
they were
They were
pulled.
just pulled?
They were
We don't have to vote, okay.
Officially out of regular session and into emergency session. We have 2 emergency items. The first is after-the-fact approval to hire a math tutor, CL Overturf Junior 6th Grade Center. Justification, explanation, time sensitive.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I move we approve after the fact to hire math tutor.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second.
Second?
All in favor?
Sorry.
Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Next is approval of amended 2014-15 miscellaneous salary schedule, justification, explanation, time sensitive, due to increase in minimum wage. And basically, that's all that's in the packet, is that we had to increase minimum wage. And I think we've said minimum wage now instead of a number, so that if and when it goes up again, we don't have to
But
change
where on
things.
this, it was changed, is our rate for substitute teachers are all categories based off the minimum wage.
Right.
So we had to increase the daily rate.
Everything,
to the
yep,
minimum wage.
everything accordingly. Okay,
I make a motion to approve.
Second?
motion and second on the floor. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Out of emergency session, back into regular session. We have some new business on our discussion agenda. Number one, discussion and input regarding placing the Campbell Administration Building on the market for sale. And as chairman, I received an offer for the Campbell Building, and I spoke with our attorney, and he said that we really can't just accept an offer. We have a responsibility to the taxpayers. That's me, sorry.
I'm glad that was you.
I'm very sorry.
Okay.
I'm on mute, so I don't know why that happened. It was an alarm. But we have a responsibility to taxpayers to get as much as we can for the building. So he suggested that I put it on the agenda for today so that the board can decide if in fact we want to list it for sale and accept bids from anybody who wants to
I
bid on it.
support you putting it out there and letting our attorney start negotiating, accepting bids and getting.
The only question now is how long do we want 30 days, 60 days, 90 days?
However long it takes to get a good offer and a recommendation from
Well,
Dallas over there.
I think, reasonably with the estimated cost of this building, what it was projected at, its appraisal, and our marketplace, I think, 60, 90 days, we're probably gonna flesh out all the people that are interested in buying it. That's just my gut, I don't think any longer than that. Really longer than 60 days, I think we're just probably spinning our wheels.
Well, I entertain a motion.
60 days.
That's not a motion.
I make a motion, we give Mr. Douglas 60 days to bring us, or Ms. Hedstrom, 60 days to bring us back their appraisals or bids to purchase the building.
If you don't mind, it does say, put it on the market
Put
for
it on the
sale.
market for sale.
60 days.
I
So the
second
motion
that.
is to put the Campbell Building on the market for 60 days and have Mr. Douglas accept any offers that come
I
in.
think this is just on here for discussion. I don't know that you can do any kind of a vote, can you?
Oh, it was
Just says
supposed to
discussion
say,
and input. It doesn't say,
it's supposed to say an approval, sorry.
Well, let's just put it on the.
Oh, well, it'll
agenda
be
for
on the
week.
next agenda for approval, please, that's all right.
Yeah, I think, are we good with 60 days? I would love anybody
I think it's
who
plenty of
has,
time.
you did some real estate, right, Kathy? at some
I
point?
think 60 is fine, as
Right.
long as there's a way to get the word out.
Right.
I don't know how we can do that, I don't wanna spend a lot of money advertising and
No,
stuff.
can't we
But there's gotta be ways, with 1,500 employees, everybody tell somebody. The
Put it
Campbell
on the
Building's for
website
sale.
and the newspaper, right? That's,
So we
Certainly
don't go
our
through a
website.
realtor?
no, I don't think we need to at this point.
No, it's just
We have
spending
an
money, we
attorney.
don't have to, we have an
News
attorney.
releases,
I think
yeah.
we're fortunate today.
we pay
to
our
have
attorney
Building
Ms.
for sale.
Right?
Ms. Hedstrom, so I think they'll take care of it.
We don't need a realtor, we have an attorney.
Okay, so the motion has to be withdrawn in the second,
I
I'm
withdraw
sorry.
my motion.
It has to
Withdraw my
say that
second.
we're going to vote on something on the agenda in order for us to be able to vote on it. And an oversight was made, and it says discussion and input. It doesn't say approval. So we're gonna put it on the next agenda for approval to list the Campbell Building for 60 days on the market for sale. Okay. Discussion and approval to advertise new policy numbers, 1060, 1430.04, 1430.06, 1430.07, 1430.09, 2261.03, 3430.04, 3430.05, 3430.06, 3430.07, 3430.09, 4430.04, 4430.05, 4430.06, this is worse than the proclamation, 4430.07, 4430.09, and updates to policies 1217, 141902, 2280, 2440, 2623, 3217, 3419.02, 3430, 4217, 4419.02, 4430, 5114, 541001, 5772, 5830, 6322, 7217, 8500, 8510, 8540, and 9211. And what this is, we have a firm that we hired a few years ago, and they keep on top of the Florida statutes and the changes in the laws that apply to school districts that make us have to change our policies. So we've gotten this bundle from them, and these are statutory changes that we really don't have too much of a choice about.
Advertise.
But we're only going to approve this for advertisement. There's 28 days, I believe, before we'll be voting on this. So anybody who's interested can request copies and go through them. Good luck. There's a lot of them. Again, it's, oh, Lord, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's
It's
not
statutories,
Roll call.
so we really don't have any choice, but I will take a roll call vote as to whether or not to advertise. Mr. Wright?
Advertise.
I say advertise. Mr. Buckles?
Advertise.
Ms. Cummings?
Advertise.
Ms. Crawford?
Advertise.
Okay, we're gonna advertise. And lastly, reports by board members. I think I'll start with you, Ms. Crawford.
Okay. I think we've all been really busy the last couple of weeks. Nikki and I were at Kelly Smith Elementary and CL Overturf Sixth Grade Center for National Literacy Week, and we had, I did, I'll let
it was great.
Nikki
It was
speak for
great.
herself, a wonderful time. I'm telling you, we have the best schools in the state of Florida and the best teachers and the best kids. They were just so inquisitive and listened to everything we said and you know, asked wonderful questions, and I was so proud to be a part of that. I had another experience in truancy court. Ms. Criswell and I both attended our latest truancy court, and that is a real eye-opener. I suggest, I wish every high school guidance, well, really, all of them could attend that, and deans. It's remarkable. Had another great experience at Kelly Smith. I went to the book buffet. Have any of you ever been to a book buffet? Oh, it was wonderful because the kids, you know, read a book, explained a book, and then you got to eat the author's favorite food. So it was great having dinner at Kelly Smith that night. And I just wanted to say, following up on the concerns that I mentioned at the last board meeting about drug use among our students in Putnam County, I met last week with the director of the Stuart Marchman residential treatment facility, and one of our county commissioners was there, and some involved parents to begin a dialogue about what we can do to support drug education, to support parents who have been affected by drug use and the devastating effects of drugs. And we're meeting again this Thursday, so I will keep everyone updated on that.
Great, that's wonderful. Thank you. Ms. Cummings?
I did enjoy the reading celebration for the schools, and I also got to visit the Solution Center, like I mentioned, and as always, I'm just so impressed, and these people have such a burden for these kids. Words can't express my gratitude because I know that's something I could never do, and I do appreciate Wendy and her team out at Solution Center for making the positive impact on these kids. Another really, brought tears to my eyes was a teacher who got to counsel one of her students that the mother passed away in that tragic accident last month. And I just said, wow. I mean, here we have teachers that have to deal with the death of a parent. And where do you measure that on the Marzano scale? Like I always say, there's no, she's holding her hand, crying with her, laughing with her visitor at home. In fact, I wanted to send that to our wonderful paper because it was a very impactful the heart of a teacher, and we have so many of those, and there's so many stories we don't always hear about, but it's like, oh, you know, some of the teachers, sometimes we feel like we're dropping the ball and it's all about scores, but we're making well-rounded child who feels loved and respected. And to me, that speaks volumes. So I do appreciate the many teachers that do. There's been a lot of tragedy, and people don't understand why things happen, and these poor kids are looking for stability and answers. And when our teachers can just step in and do that, I'm just like, wow, that's a huge burden that we put on them, and we don't ask them, they just do it, and it's just a amazing thing. So thank you to all the teachers who always go above and beyond, because oh wait, we might be off our Common Core, we may be off our testing schedule, we may be off, but you know what? To take that extra time is going to speak volumes that scores can never measure. So thanks for that. And again, all the teachers that are doing all this wonderful reading and promoting, I'm just encouraged about that. So that's all.
Thank you. Mr. Buckles.
Well, I'd like to welcome Miss Dallas Hedstrom from, it's Hedstrom and Douglas, is that correct?
Close enough.
Close enough? She's one of my former students, and certainly I knew she was capable of great things, and she's so much smarter than Charlie. It's real pleasure to have you here. He's pretty smart, but he's not quite like you. But anyway, it's good to see you, Dallas.
Thank you.
I have a letter here that let me go through a story. Last Monday evening or afternoon, I was traveling through Bostwick, and there was a horrific accident in the road there at the intersection of Palmetto Bluff and US 17. And there was a mother, two people had her laying in the ditch, and she was crying for her children, and she refused to be transported until we could get her children off the bus and to her. So I was able to call Sharon Cormany and reach her, and she got me through to Rodney Simons, and Rodney got through to me and had the bus driver come there as quickly as possible and get these young children off the bus, and the bus driver released them to me with his approval. And we got them to the bus. We got them to the parent, and she was safely transported once she could see her children, and it was a pretty pitiful scene. But this area has been a constant source of accidents for years. I know a couple of years ago, the residents out there got a drive going and had thousands of signatures on petitions, and they probably still got them somewhere, and it didn't seem to take heart with the Department of Transportation. And I called state transportation officials, and they said it would be very nice if I could get with the superintendent and the board chair and the board members, and they would get a letter together to request something be done. And I know that there is now a traffic light at West River Road and US 17, but we have put together a letter, all board members have signed it, and it is to Mr. Greg Evans, District Secretary, Department of Transportation, 1109 South Marion Avenue, Lake City, Florida. Dear Mr. Evans, this request is written on behalf of the safety of our students and families who reside in the Bostwick area of Putnam County, who are requesting a traffic light be installed at the intersection of Palmetto Bluff Road and US 17. This location has had constant accidents for years, and for some has been a death trap. We have had to flag down school buses to unite students with injured parents, or even worse, pull bodies from wrecked vehicles. This needs to be corrected. Please contact and advise us of the measures we need to take to ensure the installation of a traffic light for the safety of children, families, neighbors, and travelers who pass through this most dangerous intersection. Thank you, and who pass through this most dangerous intersection. Thank you for your help, as together we may rectify this terrible problem. And it's signed by the superintendent and the chairperson and all board members. So with that, we'll get them off in the mail, and I know that we've emailed the county commission. They're going to work to see what they can do, if any, and just see how it goes. So there's a lot of people out that way, and they're hoping maybe the school board has enough pull to get something done, because they're scared. You know, it's a bad. They've just put in a Dollar General. It's a real bad line curve, and at 60 miles an hour, the vehicles are on you before you can turn around. So that's it. That's my report.
Thank you for spearheading that, Mr. Buckles. That's a very worthy cause. Mr. Wright.
Madam Chair, a couple things. One, a big shout out to all the excuse me, Putnam County sports teams that have finished up their seasons over the last few weeks. A lot of soccer, a lot of men and women's soccer, stuff like that going on. So I got to see a lot of good soccer games. Also, big shout out to Palaca High having a great basketball season, right? Still, they had a great season. Coach Carter down at Crescent City still winning. So that's a good thing. But I want to talk to you about something a little bit serious. Y'all know my reports are typically pretty lighthearted and fun, but I've been made aware over the last few days of something that I'm not going to call an epidemic within our district, but certainly it raises to the level of needing some concern. We Baker Act out of our schools, Madam Superintendent, 100 students a year roughly. Now, for those of you who don't know what a Baker Act is, that's when someone who's threatening to do danger to themselves, am I right, attorney, or to someone else. I heard 2 stories just this past week of things that have happened within the recent past. One was a middle schooler who was curled up in the corner screaming she couldn't take it anymore, and another one threatening to do harm to herself. We're about testing. We're about education, but before all that, we're about our kids, and we're about our students. And I just want to thank all the SROs who are on the front line of this, all of our administrators and teachers who intervene in these, Nikki already said it, just, tragic, horrific stories, and show that they care. For the public who might be cynical toward public education, and some of the way our test scores and abilities are being portrayed and marketed, understand that our teachers and our administrators and our SROs and our counselors deal with this on a daily basis, and they do it with excellence. There are children alive today because people intervened in their lives. Madam Superintendent, Madam Chair, with your permission, I'm going to ask at the end of the year, of the school year, that we get a report given to the board on Baker Acts, on demographics. Of course, we can't use names. We can't do anything like that, but we can get general statistical data so we can understand what's going on in our community and how we might need to shape strategies that address this. My heart was broken to think there's a child at school who's scared to go home. Now that ought to bother you. If it doesn't, you got bigger problems than we can fix. So I hate to bring a downer thing to you today. That's not typically me, but this has got to be looked at. And we at least, Madam Superintendent, I know you've dealt with it for years, but we at least have to have a public discussion about this, I think, at the end of the year. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wright. This morning I attended the exit conference, which is really a preliminary audit report. And this is my 9th year reading audit reports, and I have to tell you, it was exemplary. It was amazing to me how, it's all these little technicalities, nothing to do with money whatsoever. Everything is in order with our funds according to the auditors. And I was just very, very, very favorably impressed. And I want to give a shout out to the superintendent because that's where it all starts and comes from. And it was really, really, and of course the finance department, I'm sorry to leave you out, but I was really amazed. I really was. It was fabulous. On our consent agenda, on the NEFEC, we approved an item. NEFEC is leasing an office to the Early Learning Coalition. And I am so supportive of them because it all starts with our little ones. Because of our demographics, so many of them come to school, they don't know the ABCs, they don't know their colors, they don't know their numbers, where this group does because the parents are involved at home. And we all know we have a huge population of students who have no parental support, no adult in their life at all that values education. And these typically are the students that come to us behind. And you know what? When they start out behind, they can almost never catch up. And with pre-K and early learning intervention, that's the answer. I mean, it'll take 12, 14 years to see the results in our graduation rates and the number of students who go to college, et cetera. But we got to start sometime to get there. And I really would like to see a big push. My two things are the Solution Center and pre-K and early learning intervention. And I really think we need both, and that's the end of my report. I'm delighted about the memorandum with the dental thing, too. I think that's
wonderful.
fabulous. I
Yeah.
didn't realize we were getting I was going to give a little bit of a report. I didn't realize you'd be here, but it's fabulous. It's really, I can't imagine sitting in a classroom trying to learn algebra with a toothache. Seriously. Trying to learn anything with a toothache. And I know it's prevalent in our schools. So the prevention is one thing, and then the ability to refer the students who can't afford it for treatment. It's just wonderful, and thank you very much.
Thank you
You're
very
really
much.
helping the kids.
Yes, thank you.
Do we have a report from the board attorney?
Well, I would just thank the board for allowing me to unseat Charlie today.
Anytime, Dallas.
I thought originally you were gonna be here instead of him.
Well,
Otherwise, he wouldn't have voted for you.
we did the bait and switch on you. And I know Charlie missed you today, even if you didn't miss him.
I didn't miss him.
So
I love
we'll
having
be
you.
back next time. But I would just go off of what Ms. Crawford said. My Tuesday afternoons, usually the last Tuesday of every month, are spent in truancy court. And I'm always happy to see Ms. Crawford in there, and I was certainly happy to see you this past week as well. And it's really an honor, and that's a great program, and Officer Christy May just does a fantastic job. I get emails and calls from her at all hours of the day and night, and she's really watching out for those kids. And, I think it's a good program to ferret out a lot of these problems beyond truancy, things, Baker Act proceedings, and situations at home where DCF should get involved.
Yes.
And so it's a great opportunity.
Thank you. Madam Superintendent.
Thank you. And let me just say, we have this wonderful team of Douglas and Hedstrom, and they are graduates of Palatka High School. They went to school here in Putnam County. So if you want a good education in Putnam County and you want to be successful in life, you can get it. And thank you all as board members for being so actively involved in the schools and the activities that go on at the schools, and having such a passion for our students, and not only our students but our teachers, and recognizing the job that they do, and the counselors and the school psychologists, and all. There's so many people that work so hard for these children. And Mr. Wright, you're exactly right when you talk about what we see in society today is affecting our children. And I do not understand adults who have children that don't feel compassion and love for them and want to take care of them. But we have a lot of children that live in misery in the homes that they live in Putnam County. Most people don't see it on a regular basis. The teachers do. Everybody that works in a school sees it every day. That's right. And to know that what the state wants them to do is have them pass a test is really a difficult thing, because our children's needs are so much greater than that. And I've said so many times, Ted Bundy, because I remember that whole situation, we could help Ted Bundy pass any state exam, but do you want to live next door to him? I mean, really, what are we trying to get our children to do? We need good care. Well, you can't live next door to him now, but I'm just saying, is that the kind of person you want to live next door to? Our children need to learn character. They need to learn work ethic. They need to learn things they're not learning at home. And it's very hard for teachers to find time to teach those things in a classroom now, when the state has prescribed to us, 30 minutes for math and 90 minutes for reading and 30 minutes for PE and 30 minutes for lunch. And they tell you all day long what you're going to do and how long you're going to spend in it. And to try to take the time to do what we used to do when education in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s that we grew up in, and we turned out okay, but we had teachers that spent time doing the extra things in the classroom that now they're having to do after class, in the evenings, afternoons. And so those that are passionate about the children are doing that. And all 700 of our teachers work very hard, but then there are a large majority of them who take the time to go that extra mile on their own time and spend their own money. And it happens on a daily basis, and they don't get enough credit. So when people talk about our schools in a negative manner, I kind of come unglued because I've been there, still there, know what's happening. And so we don't thank them enough for what they do for our children. Our children need us, all of us. Let me also say about Judge DuPont. He is the one that started that truancy court. We've never had one. He came to me, wanted to start it. I was thrilled. And he is doing a super job, and it's made a real difference in our attendance. And it speaks to the parents. When the judge says you have to come to court, they come. You know, we'd call them to the school, they didn't come.
Right.
But the judge, that makes a difference. So it's going really well. Yes.
The dangling handcuffs do make a difference.
Yes, and Christy May is our officer who works on that all day, every day. She does a tremendous job of keeping up across the county with the truancy issues. So it's wonderful. And actually, Rhonda does keep us like right where we need to be. She's got a great staff in finance, and certainly Shannon Wilson is now the director of finance. She will be filling the shoes of Tom, who has moved on, and he deserves to be retired. I hope he enjoys his retirement. Shannon is more than qualified, and I'm looking forward to she and Rhonda working with me on all the different issues that we have to deal with. It's not for the faint of heart in a school finance department. It is quite different from what you would do as a CPA in other businesses, and it is tremendously difficult. And so these auditors, in case you didn't know, we have state auditors with us all the time. We have an office for them. They're in there most days of the year. They watch every little thing that we do. So the report today, thank you, Ms. Jorgensen. It was an excellent report. We worked very hard to make sure that the only kind of criticisms we get in an audit is they want us to change our procedure to this or that or add something to our procedure. And I've worked closely with Rhonda for 2 years to make sure that our finances are what they should be. Certainly we want to give as much to the students as we can, but the state gives us specific direction on how to spend our money, and it's in categories. And it would take a Philadelphia lawyer to figure it out. That's not what Rhonda is, but she's close as a CPA. It is very, very difficult and hard to understand, and she has federal grants and state dollars, and plus she does all of NEFEC's finances as well, because they don't have their own finance person, and we are their host district. So there is a huge amount of work that goes on in finance daily, and unfortunately they are there nights and weekends pretty often. But that says a lot about them and their commitment to this district, and certainly we don't give them enough credit for that, so thank you for all of that. And also Stuart Marchman, Dr. Vicki Buckles at Stuart Marchman has been working with us, and I told her my dream was to bring all the services to the schools, every service of every agency in the community that can possibly come and do those services at the school, because sending a note to the parents or calling them and wanting them to bring the children to them doesn't work. Parents don't have transportation, or they just plain won't do it. If they come to the schools, the children get the services, and that's the important thing. Dr. Buckles at Stuart Marchman has worked with us at E.H. Miller, and Libby Weaver's been involved in that through our ESE department, and they are bringing services there from DJJ, from Stuart Marchman, from all the agencies in town to work with them. And then she met with me recently and the principal of Mellon Elementary and Browning Pierce Elementary, and we're going to expand as those agencies can, as they have personnel to do that. We will expand the services to each of the schools, and we're trying to start with the schools that we see that have the greatest problem with Baker acting or with other issues that we are concerned about. So certainly that's something that we're working on a daily basis, and I'm glad you recognize that. I want to remind you that Thursday night, February 5th at 6 p.m., we will have our recognition ceremony for our Teacher of the Year and School-Related Employee of the Year. And certainly you are invited to come, and there's dinner. And if you would just RSVP to Ms. Decabellis and let her know if you can be there, so that she'll be sure and have your seat safe. I had a couple of reports from Nikki Hawthorne, who is Director of Food Service. And there were a couple of things. I'll let her report next time on the community eligibility provision. It looks like our district is going to qualify for that next school year, which basically means all of our children will get free breakfast and free lunch. So we're really excited about that. I'm going to let her, I don't think she was able to make it this afternoon, so we'll put it on the agenda for next time so that you can hear all that she says and has done and been working towards to get that. It's really important for our community. Also, she received a letter of congratulations from the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, the Division of Food, Nutrition, and Wellness. They were proud to notify her that the following schools have been awarded the United States Department of Agriculture's Healthier U.S. School Challenge. Interlochen Elementary School received silver, Melrose Elementary School received silver, Aquila Elementary School received gold. The letter said, "We salute the hard work and dedication that went into qualifying and making these schools healthier places to learn and achieve. Your efforts contribute to the fight against childhood obesity and will have a lifelong impact on the health and wellness of the lives of your students. These schools will receive a Healthier U.S. Challenge Award banner for display and will be presented with a plaque signed by Secretary Tom Vilsack. In addition to the plaque, banner, and recognition, your schools will receive $1,000 for the silver schools and $1,500 for the gold school for their nonprofit school food service account." So that's quite an honor for them. We also, just in case you didn't know, Jenkins Middle School and QI Roberts Junior Senior High had 15 students who went to Washington, D.C. for the week, I believe, of January 19th. And had a great time, and there was a nice picture in the paper, and they did a tour and learned a lot of history. And that's quite an experience for students. I did that years ago, and both of my daughters participated years ago. Wonderful, really eye-opening experience. You can see it on TV or on a video in a classroom, but when you're actually there, it has a tremendous impact. The last thing that I wanted to mention to you today was in the paper. This was actually January 10th, and I don't believe it was brought to your attention at that time. You probably saw it. This student is Sam Arendt of Melrose. He attends Interlochen High School, and he is now attending classes at the Montezuma Castle in New Mexico. When asked about this opportunity that he had, he was very excited, of course, and this comes from the International Baccalaureate Boarding School that he's attending. It's an $80,000 scholarship that he was awarded last year in April. This is a big deal. There were, out of 800 students in the U.S. who qualified for it, they only chose 50. And this student from Interlochen High School was chosen. That says a lot, not only about Sam and his family, but our school district who prepared him for such a thing. He said so far it's just been a humbling, amazing experience, and he said it's kind of similar to the Hogwarts from Harry Potter, which the kids could identify with. And he said they're surrounded by mountains, and he saw snow for the first time. Isn't that something? He's chosen for something like this, yet he's never even seen snow. Of the 800 U.S. students who applied for the program, he was one of the top 50 who received it. There are 230 students who come from other countries that are participating in this program. He had no idea that this existed until he read about it and pursued the application. He said that it's just a most amazing experience for him, and he talked about how difficult it is to be accepted into the program and how amazed he was that he was accepted. Anyway, it's a long article, and I suggest if you haven't read it that you do so, because it really is a wonderful opportunity for him, and the fact that he was chosen and also says a lot about Putnam County school system. So I think that's all I have today, and thank you all so much.
Okay, before I adjourn, I'd just like to remind everybody that on Saturday at 10:30 at Price Middle School, I am so excited. 1988, Price started, and my two boys were in there, and I remember they did a time capsule. I remember they put a bunch of stuff in there, but I can't remember what. And on Saturday at 10:30, they're gonna open the time capsule.
They didn't start.
No,
They
that's
built
when the
the
new
new
building,
school
it
because
started in
The
77.
new building, because I
Was
talked,
Pam
The new
yeah.
building.
The new
Right,
building,
that's what I
yeah.
meant, the
Yeah.
new building,
I
sorry.
just was,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
the new building was built. And anyway, I'm gonna be there.
Take
Everybody's
pictures.
Everybody's invited. Mr. Overturf was in one of the pictures, the promo pictures. He was superintendent then, so very young, 27 years ago, Mr. Overturf was in the picture. I think the principal at the time, Mr. Howard Allred, I believe he's the one that requested that we finally unearth it, and he's planning to be there. So it's gonna be a really good time, and I'm excited. I think it's exciting. I can't wait to see what it was we put in there in 1988.
if I'm in any of the pictures, let me know.
Okay, I'll let you know if you're in any of the pictures. Any more business to come before the board? If not, meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Nikki, do you need to go to the restroom?
No,
Did y'all walk? Did you care or not really?
Jane, what was it you wanted on the agenda? I said I'd put on for you.